What's up, Seahawks? Welcome back to Seahawks Central News. I'm Hannah Creech.
And I'm Patrick Hogan. We've got a nice show for you here today, recapping the 2018 election here in North Carolina and Veterans Day.
We're also talking about Cucalorus, Freedom of Expression Week, and other events here on campus.
We have all of these stories and a lot more, so sit down and stay tuned.
Because Seahawks Central News starts right now.
The midterm elections happened across the country last Tuesday, and a lot of interesting developments have been made in the process. Members of the Democratic Party took control of the U.S. House of Representatives, and Republicans retained control of the Senate. Things didn't shake up too much here in North Carolina, but we're going to break down the results for you here today.
There weren't many close calls when it came to the election of many North Carolina House members. The incumbents won in every district they had previously controlled, and the closest race came from the 9th District. Mark Harris, a Republican, won the 9th District with a difference of about 4,000 votes. When it comes to the differences between how the election shaped up compared to 2016, however, it seems like the Democrats won more support even though they ultimately didn't gain any seats here. Here in the 7th District, David Rouser, an incumbent Republican, had won about 22% in 2016, had his lead close to about 13% this time around. With the district map ruled as an illegal gerrymander earlier this year, it will be interesting to see how a new district map will change the representation of the state going forward.
When it comes to ballot measures, there were a few interesting results too. North Carolinians voted against 2 amendments aimed at stripping power from the governor. One would have removed the governor's power to make appointments to the State Board of Ethics and Elections Enforcement. The other would have changed the way judicial vacancies were filled, changing from them being appointed by the governor to a new commission that would end with the legislature selecting nominees for the governor to appoint.
4 of the ballot measures did pass. Income taxes in the state have capped at 7% from the previous 10%. This is ultimately inconsequential as the current income tax rate sits at just under 5.5%. Another was an amendment requiring that voters present identification at the polls. When legislation was passed in 2013 requiring photo ID, it ended up being struck down by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 4th Circuit. The court said that the legislature had passed the law with racially discriminatory intent. Now a similar law is part of the state constitution. Marcy's Law, an amendment aiming to increase the rights of crime victims, also was passed as an amendment. This law gave victims a number of rights with specific requests to be notified of the status of the offender in the criminal justice system, as well as giving them the ability to be heard at court proceedings, including pleas, convictions, sentencing, and release, among others. For the last amendment passed this year, we have WGO's Maddie Peterson to tell us more.
Thanks, Hannah. The North Carolina Right to Hunt and Fish Amendment was the last amendment voted in by North Carolinians this year. This amendment gives citizens of North Carolina a constitutional right to hunt, fish, and harvest wildlife. Furthermore, this amendment includes hunting and fishing as the preferred method for controlling and managing wildlife. As of 2018, 21 states have constitutional provisions for the right to hunt and fish, and now North Carolina will join with the addition of Section 38 to Article 1 of the North Carolina Constitution.
Thanks, Maddie. To wrap up things about the 2018 election, the General Assembly got a little shaken up too. The House of Representatives now consists of 66 Republicans and 54 Democrats, the Democrats picking up 9 seats. The Senate ended up with results ending in 33 Republicans held seats and Democrats holding 17, picking up 2 seats from 2016. While the Republicans are maintaining control of the General Assembly, we can assume that the legislation going through the Assembly will change, with Republicans no longer holding the supermajority necessarily to override the governor's veto power. It'll be interesting to see how this ends up working out.
Back to campus, it's Freedom of Expression Week here at UNCW. There are a handful of events going on, and one of them is the First Amendment Free Food Festival. Students tabled asking other students about the 5 rights guaranteed by the First Amendment. There were also some guest speakers that came to campus on Tuesday and Wednesday, with columnist Greg Lukianoff and former editor-in-chief of USA Today, Ken Paulson, coming to speak. Here in student media, the First Amendment is what gives us the ability to do what we do, so it is definitely an interesting week. But that isn't all that's happened here over the past week. We have Isabella Bailey in studio to tell us about a parade that happened over the weekend. Isabella?
Thanks, Patrick. This past Saturday, Wilmington honored those who have served our country in the city's second annual Veterans Day Parade. The parade took place along Front Street in historic downtown Wilmington and featured marching bands, floats, and processions from Wilmington's police and fire departments. Before the parade, people from all over southeastern North Carolina came out to participate in the Purple Heart 5K run to honor Purple Heart Medal recipients. That afternoon, the U.S. Navy Band played a free concert right here at UNCW in Keenan Auditorium to round out the day's festivities. There are roughly 2,000 students here at UNCW with some kind of military affiliation, so to them, we say thanks. Patrick?
Thanks, Isabella. The Cucalorus Film and Stage Festival also hit town last week. It ran from November 7th through the 11th and is one of the big festivals to hit town every year, along with UNCW's very own Visions Festival. It was a busy week for those that wanted to attend every showing and event, and some UNCW students even had some of their own work and live performances end up on the big screen.
On Thursday, November 8th, environmentalist and journalist Bill McKibben came to UNCW to discuss climate change. McKibben has been closely studying the environment for decades and is well known for his book, The End of Nature. The turnout of the lecture was 3 times larger than expected, and many people were left standing without chairs. During the lecture, McKibben stressed the negative effects that fossil fuels have on the earth and discussed what we can do to change the way we're living. He believes that there is a major power in numbers and that the only way we can tackle such a large issue as climate change is to gather people together in a mass scale. Well, that's it for us. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to UNCW TealTV on your favorite social media platform. If you have any story suggestions or want to talk about the show today, drop us a comment. For Seahawks Central News, I'm Hannah Creech.
And I'm Patrick Hogan. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.